We back, baby. Talk Yo Talk with Justin Henry, Marcus Graves. Your favorite new show, man. Marcus, what's going on with you, my man? Your background look a little different,
My
homie.
man. Yeah. I'm out in Milwaukee right now. Out here for a little mini camp before training camp. Before going to summer league with the Bucks. So a little different scenery
Hey,
for me. But we're still rocking.
okay.
Still rocking.
Yeah, you finished the
Yeah.
year out there, bro. You was balling. You was balling last year towards the end of the
Yeah.
year, bro. What you expecting to do this summer? You expecting to turn up some more or what?
Man. Yeah. Just trying to build off it. Trying to build off it a little bit. See what I can do. And like always, see if you can make some noise.
Hey, facts. Well, the Bucks, man, I know they could use you. They were a point guard away from beating the Celtics, man, and coming. You know what I'm saying? We might need that not the Celtics, the Heat. And I'm like, bro, maybe we need a little
Yeah.
bit more there in Milwaukee because the Celtics and the Warriors hit the finals, right? And me and you talked about
Yeah.
it, and Celtics lost, man. You think that they were just overpowered, like because the Warriors just kind of took it to them those last couple of games. You think they were just overpowered, or what was your thought on the kind of the ending of the finals? Because we talked a couple weeks ago, and it seemed a lot tighter back then.
Yeah, no, I think, man, I think really Game Five just hurt them. Like we mentioned last week, I think they gave Game Five away, and when you give the team like a Warriors a freebie kind of for a freebie,
Yeah,
you can say in the finals, it's tough to come back from. And I think also I think they're just worn down. They really only had 7, 8 maybe if you count Peyton Pritchard rotational guys, and
yeah.
I think they had a long postseason and. I think they're just worn down, man. So
It it was, man. It felt like both teams were kind of wearing down towards the end, but like you said, I feel like the Warriors could throw different bodies and not really miss a beat. Like if Jordan Poole needed extra minutes or Kuminga needed to come in extra minutes, like even we saw Bielisa come in for some extra minutes even in the finals. It's just the depth for the Warriors was so much, and I feel like the Warriors played with a chip on their shoulders. And the Celtics, once the pressure started melting, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying, that game 4, game 5, I don't feel like they knew what to do
yeah,
when their back was against the wall like that. Whereas the Warriors, when they went down, it was like, all right, we
yeah,
know what to do. We know how to turn it up in this scenario.
yeah, for sure. I think it's weird because so after the trade deadline, the Celtics had I remember they had 5 open roster spots, and no disrespect to the guys that are on their bench, but they signed guys who they weren't going to play.
Yeah.
And I think when you're the Celtics, you're going to go into a deep playoff run. I think you want to sign vets or guys that can help you in the playoffs, and I think again, like I said, I'm definitely in the G League, so I see the grind and the respect for those guys. But I think you sign guys that are more like project guys that you can say. They didn't
Mm,
sign guys who are playoff ready, finals ready. And I think that kind of hurt them at the end of the season because they needed those guys. Like you mentioned, the Warriors, they had guys waiting. like
right.
they
Right.
had they
Well,
had their 10, and then they had guys that they could have thrown in too, and they could have done the same thing. So
yeah, well, they expand on that a little bit because they traded for Derek White, which at the time, man, I was like, bro, I felt like that was a steal for them.
yeah,
But you mentioned they didn't really get anybody else. Like there wasn't a whole lot more to that Celtics team. It's almost like because I know they were under 500 for a good portion of the start of the season. It's almost like they weren't
yeah,
expecting to make that finals run, man. Who else do you think that they could have brought in that would have helped them? Because I'm looking at it like at the time, I'm not even sure they thought they were going to make a deep finals run like that.
yeah, absolutely. I think it's interesting because I remember Jaylen Brown tweeted in January the what do you say the energy's about to shift or the
Yeah,
something's about to shift. And I think they made that run, and then by the trade deadline in February, I feel like they were in they knew they were going to be in a playoff position. And it's weird because we look at obviously we're from SAC. We look at a team like the Kings. They make a trade at the trade deadline. They acquire guys like Jeremy Lamb. They acquire
yeah,
guys like DiVincenzo and Trey Lyles.
yeah,
Those are rotational pieces that you'd see
right.
playoff teams make. And the Celtics just didn't do it. They just didn't do it. And for whatever reason, and I think at the end of the day, they had a great season, but I think the depth is what hurt them the
Yeah.
most.
And I think they probably overestimated the Grant Williams, the Peyton Pritchards, the Daniel Tices, just that those names that weren't really helpful in a series like that against the Warriors. Bruce is commenting, said, in all seriousness, the Warriors played like a team and the Celtics played like my turn, your turn. And we did talk about that a little bit, that 1A, 1B relationship between Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. This team needs to figure that out. Even Marcus Smart, he's got to kind of figure out his role there too. So I know a lot of those guys, Al Horford, we saw him score 26 one game and have 2 the next game. So those guys got to figure it out as well. And on the other side of the ball, he said Warriors played like a team, which they did, but we also saw Steph shine when he needed to shine the most, which has been a big thing for him over his career and making huge plays, man.
Yeah, for sure. We saw Steph Curry enter himself into the top 5.
Stop the cap. I knew it was coming.
And he has officially entered himself as a top 5 player to ever play the game of basketball. I'm gonna say it right now.
Top 5, bro. That's disrespectful.
Man.
I can't accept top 5. If you're talking top 10, maybe
disrespectful to who?
Bro, we can't. I'll give him maybe so. Steph is now cemented in my top 15. Top 15. For me, I can't give you top 10. I can't give you top 10. I can't give you top 5 until you play on the defensive. Now, his defense has gotten better, but until he becomes a two-way player, two-way defensive, that's the only knock I have for him right now. Only knock is that he wasn't both sides of the ball.
Okay, so who in the top 5 was it? So everybody in the top 5 is a two-way player.
They had spectacular defensive seasons. So we're talking MJ, we're talking LeBron, Kareem, Kobe, Wilt, like all pro defenders, both sides of the ball. Steph is the greatest shooter, no cap. Greatest shooter, one of the better ball handlers the league's ever seen. But pure point guard, no. Defender, no.
Man, you gotta think about that. I think people have this persona about Steph that he doesn't play defense due to, early in his career, he was a defensive liability. If you watch Steph Curry now, he plays some defense. I'm not gonna say he's a lockdown defender. I'm not gonna say you put him on your best player, but he's not just let's go at Steph. You didn't see that a lot this year. He's not. I don't think so.
This year, maybe not this year, but in the past, Steph has been that.
But not this year. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think he's he's turned it up on defense, and in my opinion, he's a top 5 player. I'm gonna say right now. Okay, I'm gonna say right now. Everybody you named. One thing can we agree on? Steph is the best player to ever play the game who's under 6'5".
100%. I agree with you there. 100%.
Okay.
So you just going to bat for the small guys then, huh?
I'm just saying, he's if you want to put, I'm saying he's right there with Magic in terms of, his career. Still got 4 or 5 years on his career.
He does. And so my narrative can change. I ain't going to say it's cemented right now. So he's inching up that list. But I also look like, and I think I brought up this name last time. I look at a player like AI who changed the game, who was a shorter player. Like, I think obviously he's not Steph. He didn't win 4 championships. He didn't win a finals MVP. But AI kind of changed the game for his generation. And so when I look at their accomplishments, I have AI lower than Steph. But that's kind of what I think of when I think of like comparisons to what you did for the game. And AI was more of a complete player than Steph was.
Complete? Oh no.
Complete.
So this is my thing about AI and Steph. Allen Iverson is, one of my favorite players of all time. I think he's a great player. I think that like you mentioned, he changed the game. But I think Steph changed the game along with having success. He didn't just change the game by shooting threes and then, he's going home in May. He's changing the game. He's changing the league. And, he's holding the trophy at 6-4 the last 8 years.
Yeah.
So, I think it's crazy because who knows what happens in the past 3 years if the Warriors are fully healthy.
I think not. You're right about that because they would have won. I think they would have won more if they're fully healthy. But you also got Clay there. You got a lot of people playing roles. Steve Kerr did a hell of a job of getting both of those shooters. I got to credit it to Steph. He's the one that drives that whole Golden State team. I'm not knocking Steph. But situationally, we've seen great shooters in the league not win championships. And to be paired with another top 75 player, probably you want to call him that in Klay Thompson. You got another Hall of Fame player, Draymond Green. He's played with Kevin Durant. I don't know. I get the argument for top 10, but top 5, Marcus, top 5, I ain't going top 5, bro.
Okay. This is my thing. People give Magic, and no disrespect to Magic, people give Magic the automatic top 10, top 5. Look at his team. Kareem, James Worthy, like back then they didn't have teams like that.
Yeah.
They didn't have teams like that. So you're saying Steph's got all of these players. Like, this is homegrown talent. And you're saying, like, the thing about Steph is, like, he's the leader of all that. You could say, him and Kevin Durant. But at the end of the day, like, Kevin Durant came to Golden State to play with Steph.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they were building around Kevin Durant.
I don't know, man. Top 5 Steph. I can't get there yet. Top 5 of his generation. I'll give him that 1,000%. Top 5 of his generation. But when we start talking about longevity and players and a lot of history, like Magic Johnson changed the point guard position at the time. Like Larry Bird kind of came in there, did his thing, both sides of the ball. People say there was a comment here from my guy Bruce, who's been joining along with us, says Larry Bird was not two-way. Larry Bird was a two-way player, and he can play defense, and he was talking shit on the court. Like, I like his energy, and people forget a lot about Tim Duncan too. Shaq, these guys changed the game too. Duncan got multiple championships. Shaq got multiple championships. Finals MVPs for both of those guys. Defensive Player of the Year for Duncan. Like, come on, man. I don't know. Steph is nice though.
Yeah.
Put it this way: if they somehow retool this thing, he gets another one, locked in top 10, guaranteed.
Man, if they run back this team next year, and you got healthy James Wiseman, you got a new and improved Jonathan Kuminga, and throw in Moses Moody too. This team gonna be scary, man. It's gonna be a scary team.
Well, Jordan Poole's probably gone. Andrew Wiggins probably gone. They're gonna go get the bag. We know those guys are going to get the bag, and so they're gonna need their younger guys to step up. And it's kind of the theme is that NBA draft, man. It's coming up here this Thursday. And some young guys, man, are coming in. Who are you looking at in the draft as potentially maybe a steal or somebody that you're looking at that you like and maybe even a good fit for them team-wise?
Oh, man. I think there's a lot of guys in the draft that I like. My favorite guy in the draft right now is probably Jaden Ivey. Yeah. I think he's one of those guys you look at that's like a lot of people, he's kind of like the top 3, and people are kind of like sleeping on him a little bit. But I think he, in 3-4 years might be the best prospect in this draft, just in terms of what he's going to do for his team. I think
nice in open
space. I look at a draft. I think it was, I look at a draft like 2018-ish. I think it was Donovan Mitchell. I think he went 13 to Utah. And not that his game necessarily reminds me of Donovan Mitchell, but it just feels like that same kind of draft. That draft had like 2 to 3, top guys.
Yep.
And then kind of people kind of said there was a fall off, and I don't think there's a fall off in this draft.
Okay.
And then another guy that I played against this year, Marjan Beauchamp, from G League Ignite. I think he'll be a late first rounder, and I think he's going to be one of those guys that's like Herb Jones, good 3-and-D player. And he's going to go to contender, so you can see him playing late playoffs.
Yeah, I like Chet, man. I've been watching Chet now. His grind for a while. Chet Holmgren, man, he looks good, and he's got the confidence you want to see too. So I think it's kind of cool seeing like these new wave players coming in. And you mentioned Jaden Ivey too. Like he has that tenacity, that kind of that quick style of play. A lot of teams are looking at him, and sitting at number 4 is a team he used to play for, the Sacramento Kings, man. They haven't had any interest in Jaden Ivey, and there's been a lot of speculation about trading up with the Kings and them getting a vet with Detroit, I've heard. The Knicks are heavily involved. Is that a move you think the Kings should be making? Is looking to kind of get out of that spot and get a vet now that they've gone win now mode, or do you think that they're messing up by not taking your boy Ivy?
I think it's interesting, man. I think it's interesting. I think there's two ways you can go about it. Um, I think if you're looking to win this year, like you think you can contend this year, maybe you do trade out of that 4 spot and get some vets and get some guys who are playoff ready. And
Yeah.
I know they've been talking to New York and Atlanta and teams like that. But I think it's still a process for the Kings, man. They're still young. Fox is still 23. Davion still 23, 24, and Sabonis is still like 25.
Yeah.
I think adding Jay and Ivy to that mix gives you 4 core players that you can keep around for a long time to sack. And I think I think he fits in well. With he'll fit in well with Fox. He'll fit in well with Davion. And it'll be kind of that retooled 3-guard lineup that they had last year with Tyrese. And I think now you got the bonus with that, so it'll be interesting to see what they do.
It will be, man. I've been seeing a lot of different names. Julius Randle was the name from the Knicks. John Collins was the name from Atlanta. They're talking about even Jordan Poole getting traded. Some kind of combo deal, getting him up there. So obviously the Kings are looking to make some kind of move to get a third complementary piece there in Sacramento. Speaking of Sacramento, want to talk about, we got to touch on it real quick, man. Former teammate Caleb Swanigan, man. RIP, passed away today, man. Talk a little bit about your experience. You played with them, obviously, man. And I know, there's a lot of things that go on with players behind scenes that people don't talk about and discuss enough when it comes to mental health and making sure you take care of yourself, man. Any words you got on that news, man?
Yeah, man. Just condolences to his family, man. Caleb was in my brief time, playing with him, getting to know him. Super interesting dude, man. Super, like to himself. Kind of just went about his own thing and didn't really care what you thought about him. And obviously, we know he had a crazy story growing up. But man, just condolences to him and prayers to his family and everything, man. And sad to see him go, but he's looking down on all this now. So.
Man, yeah, it's tough, man. 25 years old. Got the news this morning. It was kind of sad to hear, man. And you never think about everybody's situation or what they're going through, and like you said, just even their upbringing. And sometimes it's you got to reflect on that too. And it's tough, especially when the news hits home and it's closer to you. You know what I mean? Like when you met people and you talk with them. So
absolutely.
Yeah, it's tough, man. And there's no easy way to segue from that, but. Another thing about this show, obviously, we talk a lot of basketball, and you have experiences for days dealing with players and different situations. But a lot of people don't know you're interested in football too, and that you actually come from a football household, man.
Yeah.
Let's talk some NFL, man. Let's talk a little NFL. Your dad has some NFL experience, man. Marcus, tell us a little bit about your upbringing.
Yeah. So my dad, man, he was in the NFL for 18 years, coached for 6 different teams. He was a wide receiver coach, most recently with the Chargers before he retired. And I kind of grew up around the NFL. And, I always tell myself if I play football, I think I'd be in the NFL. But, I chose the basketball route.
What position?
It is what it is. So
what position would you play?
So in high school, I played running back and I played safety. Yeah, high school, I played running back and safety. Yeah. I think I'd still be playing right now.
Well, you got this. We know you got the size, man. You see the Niner stuff there in the background. So I'm obviously a Niner fan. What's your squad?
I'm a Chargers fan, man, and been a Chargers fan since my dad retired, and looking real good for us this year. I'll tell you that.
Bruh, it looks real nice. Hey, so the AFC West is loaded, dog. Like loaded. Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, Broncos, like all of those teams have a legit chance of like making a deep run, bro. How are you feeling with your Chargers right now in the AFC West?
Man, it's gonna be interesting, man, because I think they retooled the whole defensive squad, and looking back on last year. It was a 9-8 team with number 3 offense and number 29, number 30 defense.
Yeah.
So you add guys like J.C. Jackson, Khalil Mack, Kyle Van Noy, good vet, and Sebastian Joseph Day. Man, if the defense can just be, mid, average,
Yeah.
like you're looking at a good team, man. I know the AFC West got a lot better, but it's year 3 for Justin Herbert, so hopefully he can make another leap and see what can happen.
Yeah, I look at that squad and they look scary to me, but for some reason, I still don't trust them over like Denver and KC. Like, there's just something about both of those quarterbacks. Hey,
Man.
hear me out. Hear me out. There's something about both of them, bro. Even with no Tyreek Hill, I'm like, I don't want to go up against Pat Mahomes. I'm not betting against Pat Mahomes at all. They win the AFC West. And in Denver, to me, with Russ and Jerry Jeudy and Sutton, you give Russ some weapons. He knows what to do with it, man.
Let me say this right now. People think that the Broncos have a great wide receiver core. And no disrespect to those guys. They don't have a top 25 wide receiver. Am I wrong?
Yeah, maybe. It depends.
Top 20? They don't have top 20.
They don't have top 20. They don't have top 20 yet. Russ can make he made Tyler Lockett a top 20 wide receiver, so I ain't doubting Russ.
Hey, I'm just saying, like, people put the Broncos all of a sudden up here. Like, at least the Chargers had a good team. Like, before you think that Russ is gonna just be, the end all, the savior. I don't know, man. Like, because you look at this is my thing. I don't think the Seahawks had a bad team last year, and the Seahawks were just average.
Yeah,
the Seahawks had a very similar team to the Broncos. I think Denver has probably a better defense, but
right.
I would say Seattle has a way better offense.
Seattle, well, they were good till Russ got hurt. Until Russ, remember, he had like a broken thumb. Mallet thumb is what they were calling that. So they were good until he got hurt. But for this Broncos team, I look at them like, all right, well, Doug Baldwin was nobody until Russ. Tyler Lockett is probably going to be nobody without Russ. So I look at Jerry Jeudy, former first-round pick, Cortland Sutton, who had he's a dog, straight dog. I love Cortland Sutton's game. Tim Patrick.
Oh my God.
They got the running game too. Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon. I don't know, man. I can't buy it. I can't buy the Chargers are better than Denver right now. I think on paper they are.
Tell me this. Look, on paper, it's proven they have a better. Right now, are you taking Justin Herbert or are you taking Russell Wilson?
It depends on what you're talking. If you're taking for fantasy, I'm getting Herbert. If you're talking to win me one game, give me Russ.
Oh my God. Okay. Are you taking Javonte Williams or are you taking Austin Eckler?
Over the course of a whole season, I'm probably going with the upside, baby. Javonte.
Oh my
Give me Javonte.
God.
Little old Eckler. I can't trust him for a whole season.
Okay. If you say that I'll give you the first two. If you say that the Chargers wide receiver core is not better than the Broncos wide receiver core, I got to get off the show right
now. Now, hear me out. Keenan Allen's the best receiver in that group. Keenan Allen is a dog. I fucking love Keenan Allen, bro. Keenan Allen's one of my favorite players to watch. Precision route running, precision everything with Keenan Allen, bro. Precision, some of the best hands in the league. Like Keenan Allen does everything, right? Keenan Allen's one of the most underrated receiver in the league. I think is Keenan Allen. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
Mike Williams is a dog, and Joshua Palmer's nice too.
He's gonna be solid this year.
He is. So I would put the receivers are definitely better, but Jerry Jeudy is coming up. Jerry and Cortland Sutton, dog. They nice. They nicer than people think.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens, man.
So you got them coming out of the AFC. You got the Chargers coming out of the AFC, or just?
I bias, my bias, I have them out of the AFC, but I think it's going to be a tough run, man. I think, you got teams like Buffalo, obviously, Cincinnati got better. Like you mentioned, you can't count out Patty Mahomes. People sleeping on the Raiders, man. I think the Raiders might be solid.
Yeah, we still ain't even talked about we ain't even talked about the Bengals who were just in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The Colts who just retooled, got Matt Ryan, they were looking all right, and then they just got Stephon Gilmore. Hey, they try to make some upgrades too. That defense is nice.
Yeah, okay.
And that division is whack.
We're gonna see.
So
yeah.
So you got Chargers coming out the AFC. Who do you think they play in the NFC?
Oh man.
There's some nice teams in the NFC too.
Yeah. I think Tom came back for a reason, man. I think Tom came back for a reason.
Think so?
I think they had an off year last year. I think the defense kind of took a step back last year from their Super Bowl run. And man, I think they're gonna make some noise again this year. I think they're gonna make some noise, and the NFC I think got a little weaker. Obviously, you see, I think Green Bay got worse.
Yep.
I think LA. I don't know if the Rams. I'm not gonna say they got worse, but I wouldn't say they got better. I think they lost a lot of key role pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Then obviously you got you got a lot of guys. The Saints probably got better.
Yeah,
James Winston
Saints
coming
are a
back.
dark horse team.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they'll be a dark horse team, but yeah, obviously, and then you got the NFC West gonna be hard. You got like I mentioned the Rams earlier, but you got the Niners and the Cardinals still. So we'll see what happens, man.
Yeah, the Niners. I think the Niners are gonna be back. Obviously, one of the top 3-4 teams in the NFC. I don't see how you really can fade Brady this year, coming back from 1 year, until we got the news today. Rob Gronkowski retired, bro. It kind of caught me off guard. He's got to come back at some point, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Yo, he's coming back.
I think it's weird, man, because it feels like it's gonna be Brady's last year. So I mean, I thought that last year, but I think it feels like this is gonna be the last one.
Yeah,
And I thought Rob want to go out with Brady and try and get one more crack at it, but I don't know. Maybe he's done, man. Maybe he can't do it no more. So.
I thought for sure, like if you would have gave me a number, I'd have said 100% Rob Gronkowski's coming back, like no questions asked for Brady's last run. But that football is a different kind of sport, man. You got to be mentally ready for it. Your body's got to be ready for it. So, and I know Gronk probably don't need a training camp, but shit, he probably was enjoying life this summer, man, partying. Gronk like to drink and be with the chicks, so Gronk was probably loving it, bro. I don't know, man. I think Tampa. And then the Niners, and if I had to pick a dark horse team, I really do like the Saints this year. I don't know why, man. I feel like they retooled pretty well.
Yeah,
those are the only 3 teams I really like coming out of the NFC.
What you think about Dallas?
What I think about Dallas? They're weak like always. Mid Dallas.
I think they got to figure it out at some point. I think they got to figure it out. I think. There's just too much talent. There's too much talent on the roster, And it kind of gives me, like, obviously I've been a Chargers fan a long time.
Yeah.
Kind of gives me Chargers vibes. I feel like we've had a lot of talent for a while, and it's kind of just, stumbled here and there. But I think the Cowboys got to get it together at some point, man.
Yeah, and I forgot the Rams. The Rams, obviously, you talked about them for a second, but I think the Rams will be there. They're going to be around the conversation, too. The NFC seemed kind of weak, man. I ain't gonna lie.
A little bit, yeah.
Things like a bunch of the teams that were contending, a lot of talent went to AFC. So we talk about like the Seahawks are done, like the Falcons, Panthers. None of them teams are doing anything.
Yeah.
The Eagles are kind of sleeper team because they got AJ Brown, but I don't really see them making noise.
I think they're a playoff team, but I don't think they're a contender. I think they'll be able, because I think the NFC East is really weak. You got Washington and New York Giants. But I think they'll probably make the playoffs, but I don't see them as a contending for a Super Bowl.
All right. Well, we're going to keep tabs on this offseason and OTAs or training camps coming up next month, a couple weeks, actually. Yeah. So probably while you in Summer League, we'll have to drop some training camp news too, man. You have to give us the Green Bay exclusive while you out there.
For sure. I got to get some info.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, does it for another episode of Talk Your Talk with Justin Henry, Marcus Graves. Make sure you follow us both on social media. Stay tuned. We got some more coming your way. Peace out.
Yes, sir. Peace.